we were just talking about something, not some of the things not working perfectly, but right before that, you had a question, and now I'm blanking.
Probably about guitars, gear.
Probably about guitars, and that's why we're here.
Probably about guitars is a good podcast name.
Yeah, there we go. Let's just cut straight to it, right? A toast to the music lords, both dead and alive. Please give us strength as we drink and be kind to us, and please guide us on our sonic journey. Zach, who would you like to toast this week?
Oh, you're probably going to say John Mayer because you listened to John Mayer this past week.
I was not. Who are you toasting?
I'm going to say John Mayer.
Okay.
Actually,
Prabhu.
You know what? Okay. I'm going to go with Hardy.
Okay. Prabhu?
You know what? I will actually toast to John Mayer.
Okay.
I listened to his music and I thought it was pretty impressive.
Okay, all right. Let's say Phil Lloyd, more dogs, more blacks, more Irish. And with that, cheers. That was good. So anyways, Zach, you got something for us? You got something to show us, to introduce us to the today's episode?
I do. It's in the key of everyone's favorite key, E. And it's just a pentatonic lick with a little kind of country.
What are you hitting? Like, what are you hitting? Like, is it the tritone? Is it the major third in there? Like, what makes it unique and stuff? I was because I'm hearing something.
Open E, just kind of like the Cliffs of Dover kind of thing. And it's just, it's the cool thing. And then bend up to the root, so on the 15th fret. Throw some vibrato on that puppy. And then after the bend, I just bring it straight down. So that's the first part, I guess. So bend, come back down, and then 12, 15, 12. And that's a hammer on pull-off kind of thing. And then I come down to the blues note. Wait. So I come down to the blue note.
Oh, okay, the tritone.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So then, I just walk down. Yeah.
Okay.
So all together, stuff like that.
I still can't get that vibrato you do, like the like kind of shaky, like.
I'll make that my lick of the week. A different day. So
I can't.
You come down, and then the part that kind of makes it unique is so that's
the major.
Yeah, the major.
You go to the major third, yeah.
Is that the third? Yes.
Yeah, it's the third.
So it's 14, 12, hammer on the 13th. And then you hit the open high E string.
Is that?
You're going down, so you're going. But it's.
Oh, do you hybrid pick it?
You can. Yeah.
Fucking.
And then after that, you do an E. I'm not sure what that chord's called. It's like the Jimi Hendrix kind of thing. Open, 7, 6, 7.
Oh, yeah. I think this is called the Hendrix chord. Like,
that is
it's the major seventh.
Yeah, it should be the major seventh. Oh no, it's major seventh.
I think
Hendrix. It's like a major 7.
E7. It's just an E7. Major seventh would you're pushing.
7.
I call it the Hendrix chord because that's what I think.
It's the Hendrix chord, yeah.
Hendrix chord without the minor third. I just think it's sick. I think but where were some like the elements that you pulled from to kind of think about that, or is it just noodling in general as we do?
I came up with that one a couple of years ago while I was playing Teenagers by My Chemical Romance. Which I don't know if I remember that.
Who is this by?
Yeah, I don't remember. But have you heard that song? You know that song?
By who?
My Chemical Romance.
That doesn't sound like a My Chemical Romance. That's why I was just like...
Go listen to Teenagers by My Chemical Romance. Write that one down. That's a good one.
All right.
I've only heard like one song by them. Like the super poppy one. It just sounds a lot
Listen, Braun and Cookies.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
That look good.
Anyways. No, dude. Yeah. It's like a blues song, and it pretty much talks about teenagers scaring the shit out of old people. It's good. It's a good song.
All right. Well,
you gotta listen to it.
Thank you for introducing us. Thank you for, providing us that song and My Chemical Romance and that lick. I think that's a good way to start it off. I know we have some other things that we want to talk about today. I don't know if everyone has their workhorse necessarily in their hand right now, but I know we want to talk about like our guitar workhorses, tell a little story about it, talk about why it's our workhorse. But I know first, like we had this thing last time we spoke, we shit on a few guitarists, right? But, the one that kind of stood out and then like I kind of asked about and gave a chance was John Mayer. Like I never really listened to him before. Well, Zach, he was in your like top 5, right?
Number 2.
He was number two. I've probably shat on him for years, but to be honest, like I never really listened to him. So
I think out of all the 3, John Mayer was the one we had the least opinion about his playing, but the most just about thinking like John Mayer, or maybe not expecting that he was as like good as he is, or just like for me it was more just like, oh, I thought he was a douchebag, but then I was like, I like his music, but I just don't listen to it that much.
Yeah.
Whereas like the other 2, I had an opinion on their music.
So I guess that's fair. Well, no, I guess that's true. We might as well just say we shot on John Mayer, Eric Clapton, and B.B. King. I didn't shit on B.B. King. But like what's funny is like we shat on John Mayer just like pure personality. Eric Clapton, like we didn't shit on him saying like he was like complete shit, but like we just said he's not as hot as he is, but also his personality isn't great. Maybe probably you just full Eric Clapton dump.
I took a nice big Eric Clapton dump. It's nice.
Okay, fair. and then the King, I'm completely out of this conversation. The King I wouldn't say necessarily an idol. Like I didn't grow up listening to him, but like he's just definitely, I love the music I've listened to by him. And I'm just like a fan of like on the surface fan of the blues, I'd say. And so like, I can't really discredit B.B. King, unlike my friends here, Zach and Prabhu.
Hey, B.B. King was also the person that like, I'm not into him, but I respect him a lot. And I don't think he's overrated. I think Eric Clapton's overrated. And then John Mayer, to some extent, I'll even say I think is underrated. Because
I still think John Mayer is overrated.
I think so, because the reason why I think that is that I thought he's good. So like when I listened to his stuff, I was like, okay, this dude like I thought. So my lens of John Mayer was that he's a pop star that happens to play guitar. And then when I started listening to stuff, I was like, oh, he's like, I feel like a guitarist first that happened to be as big as he is in like the normal conventional mainstream pop music. And that was actually impressive to me because I was like, his stuff is so good, and or like his guitar playing is really good, and but like it wasn't just like he's like, okay, I'm playing rock and blues and it's just to this audience. So that's what stood out to me for the songs. And we can I know you'll probably get into the songs that we listened to this week, but that stood out to me.
Fair enough. I still think
I'm
it's
not
over.
only an asshole. I only try to shit on people when it's due.
It's very elegant. I mean, we're gonna have to come back and do like some full on Eric Clapton, just like
I say things for sound bites.
I can't fucking it up now. We'll have to do all that because Layla's definitely like a classic song, so I can't shit on Clapton for that. There's a lot of songs I do like from Clapton, but yeah, like we talked about John Mayer, and Zach recommended Continuum, and I gave the full album a chance, and I thought it was like a fantastic album. I'll probably go back and listen to it more and more. But I remember, what songs did you like specifically recommend again?
Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. Definitely. That's probably one of his, well, I mean, he has a couple big ones on there, but that one is like the essence of John Mayer. And then the essence.
The ether.
Like,
Yeah, I'm like going to his Spotify right now to see which ones the two.
It's probably number one.
Well, if I see it, no, New Light is. That was the one I heard. That was his new one.
I mean that one, honestly, I don't really like that one.
I actually like that one. That's actually what made me be like, you know what, I'll give John Mayer a chance. But that's because it's like, that was that thing where I was like, okay, he plays guitar. But then working back, I'm like, oh, he's a guitarist. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it was okay. That's not like quintessential John Mayer. Slow Dancing in a Burning Room is quintessential John Mayer.
That one was interesting because he had like some good, like, it was like blues, but in a way that like I didn't feel like I was just listening to a blues song. It was like it had a lot of melodic chords in it that I like.
Why did it stand out to you? Like, why did you recommend that song in the first place? I mean, I liked it, and I'm going to give my reasons for why I liked it, but I'm curious.
I mean, honestly, Prabhu just kind of hit it on the head.
Yeah,
like
fuck you. Let me talk.
Yeah, it's an easy bailout, right? It's like it takes like the baseline blues concepts, like, because remember how I said like I can't really listen to like an old blues album top to bottom in one sitting because like I just kind of know what's coming. Is what it feels like for me at least. But like that, like it has blues, and I love like blues phrasing, and it kind of brings it into more of a modern context. And I think like that song, for example, does it really well. I really like the solo. I really like the whole thing. I like the intro riff. I like how it's just kind of like down, you know, it's like chill for most of it. He gets to the solo, and like he just rips like the perfect solo within the context of that song.
Is that the one where he goes like, like he does this kind of stuttery guitar solo, or was that the other song you read?
Yes. He's like, I can't sing. I can't play it.
Can you play it? I was like, you can probably play
it. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I didn't have time this week to learn more of it, but
it's one of those like, oh, Kanem's got it.
No, I don't have the solo. I mean, I was just going to talk about
it. Was some like one of those things. It was like,
I mean, what stood out to me with that song in particular was like playability from just like a guitar standpoint, like the playability of that song, like the. I'm fucking it up. I just found myself with just like the main part of the song really grooving with it in that way of just like it's something I can play. I remember like we talked a little bit about like playing leads in between like chords, and I know that's not necessarily chords, but like it has such a specific phrasing that it really works well to like reground it. And it's like the thing I liked about it is like I felt like it was a guitar, like the guitar part, like at least the main lick was like something that like was immediate to that song and lended itself to like you could play that like easily like just on its own, and it'd have you could do a lot of work with it and make it really work if you're just playing guitar alone.
Kind of to build on what you're saying too, I think that it like you can hear a lot of the Hendrix influence in it, in my opinion at least. Like it's kind of like I feel like a lot of artists, especially in like kind of what Prabhu was saying with Polyphia, like the Hendrix influence has like spread out in so many different ways, like, and it's cool to see that in modern music still.
You know, I mean, obviously, like with Mayer, like I've like seen him play like All Along the Watchtower and some other like Hendrix. Well, I guess that's technically Bob Dylan, but he played like more of like the Hendrix version, obviously. Yeah.
That's like a whole new song on its own, pretty much. Just on, like, which is cool. That's what a good cover is, you know.
Yeah, what Hendrix did with that was just like I felt like it was like the first time it was a cover that I just didn't know was ever a cover. I mean, I think it was like. As a tangent, I think All Along the Watchtower by Hendrix was like, I didn't know that was a cover of another song. Knocking on Heaven's Door by Guns N' Roses and Live and Let Die. But that's just because I just didn't listen to Bob Dylan extensively or the Beatles extensively. And the one that like threw me through a loop, and again, it just because I didn't listen to the Beatles extensively was Helter Skelter, the Motley Crue cover. Like I just didn't know.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that was a Beatles song for the longest time. That really threw me through a loop.
That's
and
funny.
Both, I mean, I feel like considering the Beatles version of Helter Skelter, it's still like very aggressive.
It's heavy for the time. That was like metal. Like
and I see why Motley Crue did it. But back to John Mayer, and I think kind of like with like slow dancing, for whatever reason, it also reminded me like a little bit of like Mark Knopfler, simply in like the Dire Straits, simply because they do a lot of work where like their phrasing on like the guitar kind of like is an extension of the lyrics, and it's just like that simple. I've been struggling with that for some reason.
it's hard.
That whole bit, that whole like how it's like interposed within like the words and the phrasing of the song, I felt like that was something that like really lent itself to kind of the development of the song, and how you say like it kind of all like does build up to that solo. I think it really helped in that way. I thought of Mark Knopfler for some reason.
Sorry. I think that matters because Mark Knopfler's from Dire Straits, right?
Yeah.
And like, so the only song I know by them is Sultans of Swing, and like in that song, it's like they do a lot of the parallel chords, and I think that's why it's like very similar. So like the major minor parallel chords are like, but the way they're doing it is not a chord. It's kind of like it's like strangling the chord. Like, I mean, like I'm playing it shitty, but like I that's way like, exactly. Yeah. Isn't that the song?
Yeah.
And I think that like I love when bands add like a melodic thing to their playing like that, like even if you're doing blues. And I think that's what makes it harder sometimes to listen to certain blues stuff for me. Like I love blues. I grew up liking blues a lot because I liked classic rock and that kind of stuff. I also really loved Jack White growing up, and I feel like he took the like old school blues thing.
Yeah,
grew on like crazy. I like that blues a lot, like the just like
Black Keys, White Stripes,
like slide guitar kind of blues. But I feel like with a lot of the pentatonic blues soloing stuff, what kind of gets boring to me sometimes is that like it's the same with like super shreddy metal, where it's just like, okay, there's all these notes, there's all these things happening, but sometimes you can get lost with out this, like you can get lost in knowing like where is this going, or what's the structure, what is this doing for the song, and not just the guitar dickery, for lack of a better word, because like seeing it live, it's like a little different, but like, sometimes it's like, after a while it's like, okay, I feel like this is not progressing the song, this is just to show off, like, cool, you can play a million notes. Whereas in like that song with the drum snare thing, it was like, it was very tastefully done. And I really want to go back and listen to make sure I'm referring to the right song, because one of the songs you showed was a lot more poppy, and I don't think there was much guitar in it at all. Whereas this one that we're talking about, I think, had like a bluesy, like an extended guitar solo section.
So, I mean, his first guitar solo is pretty brief. He does like that thing. Is this in D? What key is this in?
It's in C sharp.
He does that thing that's like...
Yeah, that's the stuttery guitar.
I don't think that's it, but he does like something like that. But like that's my favorite part of the solo too. Like he just like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like boom. It's right on the money.
And it's
right on the money at the right point. Like that's what I needed to hear, and he played it.
But it's a little off, it's not just like a good guitar player would have just made it. I don't know how to. A bad guitar player wouldn't know how to play it. A good guitar player would play it as just right on the beat, and then I feel like a great guitar player kind of would add that like da 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 da. It's like
yeah.
It's like a little. It's human time, and I think that element was really refreshing because. Being stuck in the gent hell of shit is like, I was like, whoa, he's off time, like cannot compute, like, but it was cool.
I feel like talking about like that human time, I feel like it was kind of consistent with like some of his playing, but also like his words like really lent itself. Like, I feel like it's like that classic like idea of like keep the rhythm section tight, and then everything above the rhythm section, like let it have a flow. And I felt like that kind of threw the whole Continuum album. That was dope.
That's a huge point, is keeping the rhythm section smooth, and then you can do whatever you want. I think that's a huge marker of like, it even masks bad playing sometimes. Like it like, I mean, to some extent, but like, I find that like, the more I like things that are rhythmically
very on time.
Well, but even beyond that, like the guitars can be doing whatever, but like when there's that rhythm thing, I think it adds back to that idea of like there's something going on like with the whole song and it's progressing.
Yeah,
it actually reminds me a lot of this. I know you guys are gonna laugh. No. The only other topic I talk about a lot is it reminds me a lot of this Buckethead song. But what's funny is that tying it back into that conversation we had about like notey, just like shreddy notes and all that stuff. Like I think what I like about that is like someone like Buckethead is that he has a lot of stuff that's melodic and not just shreddy. That like. It's very bluesy, and like this stuff I feel like that gets overlooked, and that's the stuff that like he has a song that it sounds very similar to that, and like the like I mean I can't fucking do it, but like the da, 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 like the melodic like inverted chords and stuff over soloing, and I feel like that kind of stuff it just hits the feels, it just like
yeah. Wow. No, I know we got to talk about our workhorses, but before that, like I feel like it was weird. It's always interesting when like someone like recommends like an artist and an album, and then like you connect with something that like they just didn't talk about. So I know you said like Slow Dancing in the Burning Room and then Gravity, but for whatever reason, and I think I kind of figured it out, but Believe, like the one that goes. For whatever reason, I really connected with that song, and I think I figured, like, I think it's just because it keeps your hands so busy, like on the guitar, and I tend to be like a busy player. Like I obviously I write things where I can like I hold the E chord, right? I'll hold that, I'll write stuff like that. But in general, I feel like a lot of the times, like stuff I write is like, even if I'm doing a chord, I'll arpeggiate it. So I feel like a lot of the stuff I do is busy, even in the rhythm playing. And I think that's why I really liked it. But I thought it was just like a very cool sort of like, it felt half chord driven, half like lick driven, even though it's like very repetitive. But I don't know. I like that song.
It's funny that you mentioned that one because that song, like, with
you absolutely hate.
Like, that one was an afterthought for me. Like I had listened to it and I was always like, oh, I like that song. But it, like, I don't know how many years later, maybe like 6 years later, I came back to it and I had like this period of time where I was obsessed with that song for like 3 straight months.
Yeah.
Like that was like my top song for a while. But like, again, it was like an afterthought. Like I was just like, I listened to it a couple times. I'm like, oh, I like the song, but like Gravity, that's the song. But then for whatever reason, I came back to it and I really like the solo on that one. And a lot of it is the feel. I don't actually know it, but he does like he does like, it's just like little things like that. It's not even just like, it's not like he's not doing like some crazy licks. Like he put the vibrato in the right spot. And then he does like
Do you go down on your vibrato?
Huh?
Do you go down on your pulls?
I do both, I guess. No?
You went like I was watching and you went like and
I
you
go
like
down.
pulled down to pull up and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like
Well,
yeah,
wait, doesn't
I go down.
Doesn't it depend on the string that you're like? Because like if I'm on B, I'm going up.
Yeah.
Or E.
yeah, I mean on the low strings you're gonna, but
I mean, yeah.
like,
On the high E string, you have to go up, I guess, because otherwise you do the.
I thought that's what you did, and I do that kind of when I pull stuff, but like not in the same context of what you did. And I was like, whoa, how did you do
Now
the
that you say
vibrato
it,
to that?
I think I go
That thing.
down on everything, on every string, because I find it most difficult to do high E string vibrato. And I never really thought about it until now. That's probably why it's like such a hard thing for me to do, because that's the only string I do that on.
Oh, because you have to go up.
Whenever I think about vibrato, I always think about like. So I mean, like I think we all played like the flute in like elementary school. Not flute, the recorder. Yeah, in elementary school. But like the first like orchestra or band instrument I had was the violin. And I just remember like they were like play vibrato by just like wiggling your fingers. And by that point, I had played guitar for like maybe a year or two. I'm like, the weight of a guitar, it really lets you do whatever the fuck you want with your fingers when it comes to vibrato.
Oh, because you
like,
play it like
little ass violin. Like I was trash at vibrato, and that's like immediately. I think that was like the point. I was like, I'm done with violin. I can't do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like the funny thing about vibrato is it can like completely ruin a song. You know, and I really want to do a YouTube video on this, but like to show the comparisons, like if you're playing Sweet Child of Mine and you play like this.
Ooh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like versus like. Like I think there's a lot to be said about like placement of vibrato.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because then, like, if you're also like, you know what I mean? Like that's like the guitar where you're
It sounds like Bruce Dickinson singing the Sweet Child of Mine. And,
dude, that works. That's fine because Bruce Dickinson.
I'm sorry you had to hear that.
But yeah, no, but I think that's interesting. I never really thought about that. The overuse of vibrato. I feel like vibrato is like not a thing I consciously think about in my playing. Now you got me like going through like a loop, like think about like I gotta like thinking about that more consciously. I now want to like look back at like shit I've played in the past. Like, do I just kind of use this like haphazardly? Do I not use it at all? You know,
I don't like. I feel like most people don't consciously like practice it.
Yeah.
But like, it was only like a month or two. Like I had a time frame where I would practice vibrato for 5 minutes every day.
Ow.
Literally the only thing I would
like-
do. It's the most boring exercise ever. You just go.
You're pretty dedicated
Wait.
with your technique
Like, it's
training
like-
then.
Like it's like the most boring exercise, but like you just go up each string and I would go from each string all the way up the fretboard.
Wow.
And I would do it with different fingers each day. But you don't want one finger going and the other one like doing a nice one.
Wait, can you do a pinch harmonic with that vibrato? I feel like that sounds insane.
I can't do pinch harmonics on command. There it is.
Woo!
Wait, you know what you got me thinking about now? Like, just like, I feel like if I focus and do vibrato, my hand motion isn't up or down. It's actually just like within the fret, like back and forth.
Like a violin.
Yeah.
Like
and you know what? I
That's how I
think a
used
lot
to
of
play.
people have like a violin vibrato.
Yeah.
Like but I mean, it's also there's different styles of vibrato because like some people do like the arm thing, which is like the Clapton thing. I know he's probably his favorite guitar player, but like he does like something like that. I think of bending and vibrato in the same kind of way, which is just like if you're bending, you're opening a doorknob like that.
Yeah.
If you're doing vibrato, you're like you ate too much sugar, so you're opening the doorknob, but you can't actually hold on to the door.
Yeah, that's the part. I
That's an
I
interesting
still do it like
metaphor.
Like you didn't eat too much sugar.
It's different on high and low strings too.
But like, unless you're going for the Zach Wild thing too, like you don't want to be like too fast. You just wanna
That's
kinda
a
plan-
good example of too much vibrato.
Yo, man, fuck you.
People like, but like
I gave you a peace sign so we don't get bleeped. Fuck you. This is my fuck you sign.
It's just
Too
like
much
too
vibrato,
much.
Zach
Like
Wild? I can't play like a Zach Wild. Like
that'll
right
be
now.
another episode of Zach Wild, but
See, but like I like how he uses vibrato, but like I couldn't play the same kinds of music if I had a Zach Wild vibrato. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like try playing slow dancing in a burning room with Zach Wild vibrato. It doesn't
Well,
work.
every vibrato needs a pinch harmonic. You don't know that.
with some
That's
nice
true.
EMGs
Yeah, that's
and
All right. I think. I mean, considering that Zach Wild is kind of, I think of him now. I'm like somewhat of a fan. So like, I kind of think of him as a man of guitars. Like, it's not just him as a guitarist, but he has this whole like Les Paul Bullseye. I know he came out with like his own line of guitars that I'm like low key kind of obsessed with and kind of want to get one. But like, I think that brings us to that segue to talk about like our workhorses. So I know I had mine. Do you guys have your workhorses, or is like that your current workhorse now? Zach, is that your current workhorse now, Prabhu?
that's a kind of story. That's part of my inbuilt thing. With
Part of your story.
yes.
So I guess I'll just step in and go first. I mean, this is just like a tribute model, a 2017 tribute of a 1990 tribute to the 50s model. But it's like a
1961.
1961.
1961.
Which is a tribute Les Paul. I got it. I can't remember. I mean, it's 27. I think I got it around 2017.
What
had it for a
makes
couple
it a
of
tribute? Is it just literally a reissue, or is there something
I don't know.
hardware that makes it a tribute thing?
I don't know. Is it you
part of it's the
exactly?
neck.
Oh, okay. The
I'm
neck.
So
this whole
if
thing.
it's a 50s tribute, and mine is actually it's not the tribute line, but it's also a 50s tribute. It has a rounder neck.
Okay.
Like probably if you remember playing my Epiphone Gold Top, that was
the
also
slash
based on the.
one.
So it wasn't actually a slash one. I just put
Oh,
slash pickups in it.
Oh, I thought it looked like it. Had me
Yeah.
convinced. I thought it sounded great.
But so that one had the rounder neck as well.
Okay.
Like the 60s style fat neck. And then there's the 60s like slim taper, which is like the more modern guitar for like shreddy boys. You know what I'm saying?
Shred that beef.
Shred.
But no, so I think I got this in 2017. I really like this guitar. I think like what the biggest selling point to me is, I think it's the 490 or whatever TNR pickups. Like apparently they're higher output or whatever. They're just passive pickups. But I think like I honestly, this is my workhorse, but I do kind of like sometimes go back and forth. Like there's things I miss about having like, there's no like binding on the neck or the body that I miss. And sometimes I miss it, but sometimes I like it because I feel like it's like a little bit more rugged that way, not having the binding. Like you're pretty Les Paul there, Zach. But I don't know. It was at a point, I got this guitar at a point in time where I had only my Strat and I had like a Explorer for a long bit. But between my Strat was like just like a very easy guitar to carry around, like to go practice and to go gig with. The Explorer, not so much. Like I had a big hard cover case for it. So like this like provided me the ability to like use humbuckers and not like have to carry a hard cover case all the time. Plus like at the time I didn't like, I have like a double cutaway Les Paul. It's kind of like almost like an heirloom to me. But at the time I like just kind of left that with my dad. And then, so I felt like I needed a Les Paul. Like I've always just been, kind of a Les Paul guy. So that's like kind of what drove me to get this. The pickups really do it for me. But it's the name is the General. Kind of is like probably it's like at the height of, it's like 2016, 2017 because it's like the height of Hamilton, and with like the Chris Jackson's portrayal of George Washington. I just really like that, so I named it the General for George Washington. And then also there was this book I read at the time or close to when I got this guitar about like this French revolutionary general, Alexander Dumas, who's like a black like French general that like was a complete badass and like climbed up a mountaintop to like assassinate like some enemies like all by himself. Like he like killed 12 people by himself and climbed up a mountain to do it. So like that's kind of like it's called the General, and that's the reason why it's called the General. But this has kind of just been like my workhorse. It tends to be the guitar I choose to like gig with. I tend to like write and record on it a lot. I'll take the pick guard on and off. Right now it's off. It's actually the first time I've had it off for a very extended period of time, but it just works well. It gives me, I feel like every time I plug it in, like I'm not disappointed with it, especially like in contrast with my other guitars. Like I'm not disappointed with it. Sometimes like I try to flirt with my other guitars and like, I'm like, oh, these guitars are so much better than, my Gold Top. And then I plug this in and I'm like, oh, what? I was fucking insane. Like this guitar just sounds so much better. And I think over time, like some things like that are just like easier to do that I really like doing when I play, especially when I play live, is like the pickup selector. It's a simple thing. I mean, you can do the same thing on like a Strat, just rolling up and down the volume. I just really like the ability to kind of do that on a Les Paul in general, just like switching between the pickups and almost using it like a boost switch. So this has kind of been my workhorse for gigging and for recording ever since I got it. But yeah, you guys have any questions?
No,
it's not for sale.
I was gonna ask, no, and don't sell that shit. I was gonna say like I think we should all like play something just even quick, just like something that you were talking about, like what's like enjoyable to play on that guitar, and I'm glad you played like just what, like kind of showing off what unique to that guitar.
I was messing it up before, but Since I've Been Loving You by Zeppelin. I remember this was like a song that was like really enjoyable to play with like the band before, obviously coronavirus and everything. And I really like this, the transition right here from the rhythm pickup to just going to the lead pickup. like the volume difference, the bite of the treble pickup, everything really makes a difference to me. And then just switching back right to the rhythm pickup and letting it calm down. I think that's like, I think that song really, and that's like a song I started playing with my band more in like the last year or so, but that ended up really selling me on this guitar. Is that sort of utilization of it. I mean, I was already sold on it, but that really kind of, I feel like put it over the top, at least in the last year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Zach,
You probably
Oh.
utilize your guitar better than I actually utilize my guitar. What do you think about that, Prabhu? Like, do you actually, you know what I mean? Like, do you utilize your guitar in a special way like that?
So the only guitar I can think that's really applicable, that mainly is like my Ernie ball. I mean, if you want, I can just go into mine and get that out and
Yeah.
Go for it.
So the reason why I said the workhorse question is kind of hard, because to me, what I think about is like an old faithful that's been by my side, and I don't have any of those left. So I did have an honorable mention, which was
All right. Get your honorable mention. Don't stress.
I do have it out. It's not the one I'm gonna play and show off the most, but wire this Yamaha acoustic guitar.
That's your old faithful.
It's the first guitar I learned guitar on rather.
Yeah.
And it's like $100 guitar that my dad and my brother bought in like a music guitar set because they want to learn guitar lessons, and they took some guitar lessons and then they stopped, and then it was just sitting at home, so I started learning it. But this guitar is like, it's like, I don't even care. I don't even consider it like, oh, it's good for $150 guitar. It's like an objectively good guitar. Like I've written a lot of like metal to rock to like soft stuff on it. It's very bright. It's very fun to play, and surprisingly like just, I don't know, chuggy for like an acoustic guitar. It just has
That's the new one for me.
Well, like, seeing how some acoustic guitars are just like tinny, this one has like, you just play a chord and it's just like, it just rings out. I love that. But yeah, my old workhorses were my old Les Pauls. The first was an Epiphone, and then that one is the one I had for the most time, and I wrote a lot of stuff. Zach's actually used to help me like set that up and stuff, and that was a beautiful guitar. But I sold it off, and then I got the ESP with that one. That one didn't hit the same way as that. Like, I miss the old Epiphone more, but like when I was thinking about the guitars that what are my workhorses? They're both the guitars I'm mainly using right now I bought during the pandemic, so they're relatively new. I mean, Ernie Ball 7-string. I mean, like, that one I wouldn't consider my workhorse in the same way, mainly because it's a 7-string. So Zach, your question about utilization of the guitar, this is the guitar where I feel like there's just so much. At first, I literally was like, where's the manual for this guitar? Because I was like, there's the, like, if you click this button, you get coil tapping for the middle two pickups, or coil splitting, or one of the two. And then if you hit this button, you get a 20 dB boost, which really helps for soloing. And when you hit it over here, you have just the normal magnets. Then if you do it here, you have a blend of the acoustic pickup that's built into it, as well as the magnets, and then you get just acoustic. And you can send...
Whoa, Shay, you did not talk about all of this when you first told me.
I thought I told you about the... So it works functionally as like an acoustic guitar, like an electric acoustic too. And that's something I love about this guitar, is it's almost like a two... And my old Epiphone had an acoustic pickup, but this sounds like an acoustic guitar. And that's actually... So I actually utilized this guitar, but... I think I really want to buy a 6-string version just to like
chill out a little bit.
Yeah, chill out a little bit.
Just to chill out.
Yeah, and I think that I want to buy a 6-string version, but I think that like it really like I really get a lot out of this guitar, and I think that, but it's still not my workhorse in the same way, in the
Yeah.
sense that like I've been playing it, but like once I bought, so this is my newest guitar, the Gibson. You guys fucking got me to the Gibson side. I never owned an
L.
actual
Gibson.
Gibson. The Gibson, I wanted a Gibson SG since I was in the 9th or 10th grade, and then when I ordered one, it never showed up. This is back when Best Buy did music stuff.
I remember that.
I ordered one because they said they price matched from Guitar Center, and then that never showed up. So then I bought the Les Paul, and then 2 years ago, my friend was selling like a knockoff SG in Michigan with another guitar for like $200, and I was going back anyways. And then my flight got canceled or my flight wasn't canceled, but there's the whole snowstorm, so I couldn't go back. And then I was like, okay, I'm haunted with SGs, and I wanted this for a while, but like. This one has been, so this is like, this is the Gibson SG Special, the 2019 version of the 60, I don't fucking know. But like, I don't know the years or whatever. But I love the Special because it's got P90s. I love the red. It's a different red. It's like a burgundy. It's called sparkling burgundy. It's a little different than the cherry, and then it's very slim. So what you're talking about, the shreddy boys or whatever. I don't know if you can hear the guitar.
I heard it.
It's just very fast, and I got it to play I got it out of inspiration for System of a Down, and that was and like for me, so playing things just like, so the album I'm working on is like a lot of fast kind of stuff. So like one of the riffs, I guess like something that's really fun to play is just like. Something like that.
And he said that was a riff, right? That wasn't just like the solo, right?
No, that's a riff. Yeah, that's the riff.
Okay.
And then
Just
it goes into like some fucking crazy shit. But like it's what I love about it. So why I think the 7-string doesn't make the cut for the workhorse is that I do still find myself thinking differently with that guitar. When I get to a 6-string, it's just like fucking, it's right there. But like I find myself like the Ernie Ball is like objectively amazing guitar, and to some extent, I will say a better guitar in the bells and whistles and that kind of stuff. Of like you can with the ebony fretboard and like the build, you can tell it's just like this is a high standard guitar.
Yeah.
But like this one, I just it gets, I think it's a workhorse for like, I want to see how it serves me playing for like a little more like, so the band that I play in is like a little more electronic and that and a little more like smooth hip hop kind of stuff. But I feel like for what I'm trying to, what I wanted to get straight to work with the I was on the middle pickup. I wasn't even on the bridge pickup. For the, especially with the P90s, it's just got this bite, and it's just like that. It's just got like a to it. And
there's such a P90 grin just now. As the only person with humbuckers right now, it's just like such a like.
It's honestly,
yeah, I'm like, I get you.
And I'm curious about with the P90s thing about like I mean, Zach makes it like has convinced me that they can do everything because of like I wasn't sure about like, if oddly enough, P90s are not traditionally used for metal, but the thing that I was very convinced about was how good they sound for metal, because it just sounds open and wild and like but it doesn't have the same like, you have to kind of dig more. It doesn't have the same sustain, and maybe that's just the guitar. So like even when I go like like if I have a pretty tight noise gate on, but like it's or not real, I have a noise gate on, it's not that tight, but like I feel like it's not gonna like hold the same, or I'm gonna get the notes, but like I gotta like really dig, and that adds to that definition. And I've been
like they're more responsive.
Yeah, like using thin picks, and it kind of points out the things that are wrong in my playing too. So I've got to like really just like tighten in and be like, okay, I'm like too sloppy here. So I would consider this my workhorse. I'm curious in a year This guitar was the one I played, and then I was like, I want 5 of these for different reasons. I want the blue one because it's blue, and then
You've joined the cult. You've joined the cult.
Yeah, but then I played the other one. And I was like, man, I think once I get a 6-string Ernie ball, I'll be able to make a really good assessment of like what's the guitar that like
just keep getting guitars and keep making assessments.
Once I'm on my 5th credit card and like selling off my mortgage and shit, then I'll be able to better gauge.
Oh yeah.
So that's my workhorse.
But I remember like you went through some turmoil like trying to get this one because you got to use one. I think off the reverb.
It's the SG curse, man.
And then it wasn't good, and then you finally like went like to the new route and you got it, and you felt like all hooked up and everything. And so I know like this guitar was like kind of like a struggle for you to get, and like I said, you have like this SG curse.
It's like, but now I'm here, so I'm fine. I think I lived through the curse. It was a test. That's the thing that it just made me feel like. It just felt like I also got it through Sweetwater the second time, and I got it set up and all that stuff. And I think getting it set up. I don't know if you feel this with Gibson guitars, but like the neck does definitely dry out a lot more than I was surprised about, and maybe I'm just not used to like. I haven't played rosewood fret and board in a while, but I
tend to put like lemon oil like every other string change or so. Like I know since this one's newer, I don't deal with it as much. With my older double cutaway, like I feel like it. I mean that neck, the guitar was like in storage for like a year or two, so like I know that neck just like straight up dried out. So I always put lemon oil on that one, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it's so weird to hear someone like get P90s and then like their focus was to like do metal on it. Like I've had my own experience.
Kind of stuff,
like I think my experience with P90s since like I had like a semi hollow body guitar with P90s in it, like it was just like a little bit different. And the reason why I ended up like getting rid of that like semi hollow is just because like I felt like I got too much like feedback while playing it, but. I know there's something with P90. Like I know like a guitar I do want to get is a guitar with P90s. It'll probably be a double cutaway with P90s.
I think the thing with P90s is that the rhythm sounds enough like a humbucker that it's fine to me, but the neck it sounds more like a neck pickup. So to me, it's like the best of both worlds, where I feel like I'm getting a neck pickup, a single coil neck,
like a Strat.
Yeah, I'm getting like a Strat neck pickup of like. It's got a little bit of like. It breaks up a little easier. It's got a little bit more like texture.
It sounds muddy.
Yeah, it's got some texture and brightness to it, but it's still like round, and like that character of it. It feels great. Guitar dickery.
This is my new workhorse. It's not technically the workhorse yet, but this is going to be my standard tuning guitar essentially. And I bought it on Facebook with full intention of flipping it because it's pretty much brand new. Like there's not a single scratch on it.
Yeah.
And new it sells for $2,500, like off the shelf, and I got it for $1,700. So I was like, okay, I can buy this and then try to sell it for like $2,200, make $500. And then I opened the case and I looked at it, and that was my problem. So then I ended up with a P90 guitar. And part of it was that I had never really played P90s. And I've been like curious about them, especially for like the country side of things, because the humbuckers in my Les Paul are just like super high output. My other one, my workhorse,
the red one.
So like it works, but it's kind of a one-trick pony in a lot of senses. So I was curious about P90s, especially because I went on Seymour Duncan and I was trying to build like they have like this thing where you can build your like pickup, like the one that you need. Like they direct you to the right pickup.
Yeah.
And when I put in like the genres and the things that I like, it came out with the Slash ones and P90s. So at that point I was like, oh, maybe I should try P90s, but I was like kind of afraid to like pull back from like the gainy humbuckers. So, like humbuckers are just so full and I've become so comfortable with that. Like I was reluctant to try to like dial that back for a P90 sound. But then I got it and I started playing it and I was like, I think this is what I've needed this whole time. But like, I will say, like, I really like that everything is just like, it feels like there's a lot of clarity with them. Like there's a lot, like, I don't really know how to describe it. Like kind of like he said, like they're bright, but like, feels like it gets to the spot where like normally the humbuckers like might kind of muddy up in the mix, but like it just like cuts straight through. Like it's like a laser beam that like shoots through the mix. It's like, like just doing that. Like I'm just like, yes, that feels right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I don't know. Do you have a Strat as well or another? You have a Telecaster, don't you?
I have a Strat, and I really don't like it.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of drastic difference from Les Paul, so that's probably why. I got a Telecaster recently. I actually just left it at a gig, so I got to go pick it up tomorrow.
Unintentionally?
No, so that's another story for next time. Maybe it's not a great story; it's just stupid. Like I somehow forgot my guitar. My one guitar that I brought with me, I left it there yesterday. But anyways,
no comment.
That's like more of a middle ground. And like at first, like it took a little bit, but like now I'm like getting really comfortable with the Telecaster sound. But I'm also trying to approach it differently from a Les Paul. If that makes sense, I don't play it the same way. Yeah, I think that has made a really big difference in like appreciating the Telecaster. So I kind of still have to do that with a Strat, but let me get my workhorse guitar.
I'd say one thing that you like had to like relearn how to play between like a Les Paul and a Telecaster, which I thought was interesting because I feel like with my Strat, like I still just kind of approach it like a Les Paul. Like I just go bridge, I go neck. Sometimes I use the in-between positions.
Yeah.
But I generally find them pretty useless. And then I feel like I always go back to I think the thing I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to probably just put like a hot rail in the bridge because like I'm just never satisfied with the bridge sound.
Right.
But yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I can't play my slash licks on a Telecaster. Like it doesn't sound right. You know what I mean?
But like I think there's also like this
different.
Do you think there's like the struggle of like set because like I know like I'll play my Strat at gigs, you know, just as not necessarily as frequency as my gold top, but I know I'll play my Strat at gigs, but I always like, all right, time to redo like my settings on my pedals, on my amp, because there's just certain things like it's just more shrill. So I try to dial the treble back and I try to like really handle it as a different guitar. You know, as opposed to just like swapping out like one Les Paul for another, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Do you feel like you have to do the same thing? So like you're going to talk about like your red wine. Is that the correct color? I don't want to offend your guitar.
Yeah, something like that.
So I thought you didn't know what red wine was in general.
It's
like
wine red. Actually, wine
is
red.
Is it?
It's Wine, actually.
Do you feel like you have to redo your setup now with your new gold top workhorse as opposed to your old red beauty?
I feel like I probably will have to.
Yeah.
I haven't yet, but there's also a really big tonal variety between them, I think. Yeah. Like I feel like, again, this was just kind of like the one trick pony kind of thing. And I would really have to overcompensate, like having different patches or changing my tones drastically to get certain tones. With the P90s, like they're a lot more versatile. Like I can just kind of either pick softer and suddenly I have like this glassy clean tone, or I mean, making small adjustments to like the volume will drastically impact the tone too.
Yeah.
But like with this, like I feel like the pickups were so high output and they're just stock, I think. Like I don't know what it is about this.
The 490s?
Well, I don't even know if I don't even know. I honestly have no idea what pickups are in this guitar. That could be part of the problem. But like they just don't clean up great. Like it's
silver
really
EMGs.
Hard. Huh?
Undercover EMGs.
Maybe. They honestly like maybe like they're just so like they're aggressive and they're great at sounding aggressive. But like for me to like, I very rarely use the neck pickup because it just sounds so like just fast, which is like cool. Like it's like muddy a little bit, and like I don't use that in country at all. Like I use the bridge pickup for so much. Like and now like having it as my E flat guitar, like it's perfect because when I switch to E flat, it's normally like a heavy song that we're playing, like. Sorry, I guess
Bud Light presents.
Like not heavy at all. But like for me, like
that's heavy. There's not one.
That was sick. No, I thought it was heavy. I thought it was heavy, dude.
All right. Or like. I'm really out of tune, but that's like a heavy country song.
Well, because it's got the like.
And it, like, yeah. The balls.
Oh yeah.
Okay, James Hetfield, calm down.
To bring you guys into like the country realm, you're gonna be like, this isn't what I expected at all. You're gonna be really confused.
Oh, come on, bro. I don't know. My monitor's out. Chris Stapleton. I fucks with Chris.
Which one is that one?
That's so I feel like it's a cheap cut because like I was wrong, which is arguably like the most like R&B-esque like Chris Stapleton because it's definitely like a fuck song. Like you fucked to that song. No, dude, if you listen to write it down. I Was Wrong by Chris Stapleton. You would fuck to that song.
I mean, the name kind of suggests it, I think.
Like shit, he fucked up.
Yeah, but I find it interesting. So you struggle using the rhythm pickup, the neck pickup in this one.
I definitely used to, like, even in general, I definitely used to use the rhythm pickup a lot, like for clean tone. But like, I don't know if it's just like the genre that I'm in. Like, I feel like most of the tones that you hear on like the radio, especially for like modern country, like I don't hear that kind of like that round kind of throaty neck pickup sound a lot.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's just not being used. Like they kind of will like divert to like the bridge pickup, but like it's at a high volume, but they're picking softly.
Or they use the middle pickup.
Or the middle a little bit, yeah. I feel like I feel like when I was really into like Slash, I mean I'm still really into Slash, but like when that was like the one thing that existed. When Guns N' Roses was like the only thing that existed in my life. Like that, like I would use it for like
Wait, you use the bridge? I mean the neck all the time for Guns N' Roses?
Not all the time, sorry. But like for like their clean songs. Like if I was playing Knock on Heaven's Door, like I would I'm trying to tune real quick.
Well, you'd roll back the rhythm pickup.
Wow, yeah. See, that's my problem. You hear how muddy that was? Like,
that's on your clean?
That's on my. Well, here's my. I'm really out of tune. Like it just does not. Like I'll use it on like the Strat or I'll use it on the Telly even, but like just on the Les Paul, like I feel like I just don't really like that tone that much anymore.
Dude, I always go for that woman tone. If I'm playing I don't even know how.
Is that a song or is that a description of the?
That's that Clapton description, bro.
Okay, I thought you were just calling it a woman tone. I was like, okay.
Clapton, come back.
That sounds That sounds like that Slash song for a second. Or not Slash, Santana.
Yeah, Smooth by Santana.
Okay, that is what that is.
I don't know. I'm kind of somewhat like partial to like the neck pickup for like solos. I don't know. There's something I like about it. Again, don't get me wrong. Like, it has to be like the right song, but I find I do tend to use it quite a bit in my playing. But I feel like it's tricky. It comes and goes. I feel like a lot of the calmer stuff that I can cut through with like it. I feel like with the neck pickup, I can get away more with heavier distortion on maybe a lighter song, and that's through the neck pickup that I can do that with.
I think especially if you're like finger picking, like I like because I just rolled the tone off, which I never really rolled the tone off, but like
I want to get better. So the one P90 guitar that like I do kind of fancy is like a Les Paul double cutaway junior, and that's just like a one P90. Like Keith Richards rocks that shit all the time. And the thing I love about it is like the idea of just having one pickup and just using your volume and tone knobs to get all of the sound that you want out of that guitar. And so, I mess around with that. Like sometimes I'll just mess around with just my bridge pickup and just mess around with the tone knob to see what tones I can get out of it if I'm just like really kind of in that mood. But that's the P90 guitar I kind of fancy. I mean, I think inevitably I'm such a dual pickup user that like I feel like there's a necessity. Like I need the other pickup. Like it fucks with me if I don't have it. In fact, like when I think of like an SG, right? I more and more I think about like that 3 pickup SG.
I love that one. That's the original one I wanted.
Yeah, and I understand that, but
XS.
Yeah, exactly.
I just I don't see the point of three humbuckers just chilling.
I don't, but I haven't heard it. I don't. To be honest, I don't see the point of 3 pickups in general. Like even on my Strat, like I'm just like the Strat. It makes sense for those middle positions, like because they do sound pretty cool. Like once you actually get into it, but outside of that, like I struggle with it. Like the P90 guitar I had was an Epiphone Riviera and it had the 3 pickups. And it was a little bit different because you could roll the volume in and out of the middle pickup. So like if I'm in my bridge position and I don't have the volume rolled off on my middle pickup, it's doing that middle position for me. I have to roll off the volume on that pickup. But I never really used it. I just would always roll down the middle pickup and just use it like it wasn't there. But it looked cool. That's what matters the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's like I think what matters the most is what tonal variety you're getting out of things. Because like if a middle pickup gives you more option, then a middle pickup is worth it. But if I feel like some of those guitars, it's like it just feels like there for the show because it's like I got 3 humbuckers in this thing. Like fuck yeah.
Well, most people stick to a pickup, like a single pickup when they play a lot. A lot of people do that, you know.
I switch between them a lot. I like. I actually love the middle pickup a lot, especially on. I actually like the middle pickup on
middle position or middle pickup.
Or I guess middle position. I like it for those like open chords, kind of like the or like.
I hear that.
Or like Santana kind of stuff. Like I don't know. It gives it kind of that like it gives a little bit of twang, and as I like about the SG and I guess the Les Paul, but is I really like that middle pickup tone because it gave it kind of a like.
I always think of funk with like the middle pick, like if I play Superstition ever. Yeah. Somehow. I
mean, if you roll
not
the
somehow,
guitar-
it's the mixing.
And if you roll the
Oh, but-
distortion off, it gives you that funky like. Or the.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if I'm ever in that position where I'm playing like funkier stuff and I'm not using my Strat, like I go to the middle position, like this is a safe place.
Oh yeah, and
I
on
can get
Strats,
that.
it's beautiful.
I can get that funk. Yeah, but yeah. On that note,
Yeah,
about to work.
my phone's about to die.
All right, so we talked about our workhorses.
Skip the outro, or
We talked about John Mayer. Start playing us an outro. Give us our outro, Prabhu.
all right. So I'm gonna play something in standard tuning for you guys. I'm gonna save my fast stuff for next time for you guys to do as your intro. So this is in standard E. So it's kind of like along the lines of what we were talking about, the Polyphia and John Mayer of the this is a riff I haven't worked on in a while, but I wrote it like a year ago. It's that chordy but notey thing. And then there's a solo kind of thing. There. But that's the main riff for you guys to learn.
All right, let's just play us out. Play us out so we can end this.